Now, North begs UK to stop Donald Trump not to recognize Biafra. What is their take over it?
Let me just say very clearly here that question comes as a result of recent development happening within the Abuja, and within the diplomatic circle, where representatives are seen to have been clashing over unveiling the truth in Nigeria and the report that is circulating all over the world. The North have always have a way of trying to lobby the UK to see to make sure there's no disintegration in Nigeria even before now, and that was what has led to Nigeria questionable, unnegotiable, negotiable entity called Nigeria, and it has not allowed Nigeria to actually breathe and be able to take decisions on their own on what to do and how they go about it doing. I did not seem to have this deep synergy, deep agreement, or on unknown memo or on unknown ties, treaty they have entered secretly outside other tribes like the Yoruba and the Igbos in Nigeria, or suspiciously, the Yorubas are being a part of it, from behind the doors, where they entered a certain agreement and a treaty that the Nigeria will not be allowed to disintegrate as if they are the former colonial, masters, and of course, we all know the reason why the major resources that is sustaining this country come from the Eastern Bloc. Yes, very clearly. So, and the way everything is going now, the UK government, who has disengaged themselves from the European Union, are seeking to align with maybe other strength forces around the world to see how they can continue to build their economy. The wealth of the United Kingdom today was built as a result of slavery, and they do not want anything that will likely, avoid them, having access to anything that has to do with slavery, and neo-colonization, so that they continue to squeeze themselves and the people and disenfranchise the people from their livelihood and existence, causing oppression and suppression. I do not know why the traditional leaders and the political class, in the north, I think the world need to look at it very well and see that how they are going to actually disengage this kind of unsustainable treaty the North would have entered with the British government or with the Queen Elizabeth himself to be causing a kind of oppression and suppression to a particular set of people. We know actually when this thing actually started, yes, the Igbo does not believe in conquest. I can say it very clearly. The Igbo, the Eastern Bloc, does not believe in conquest, does not believe in invasion. What an average Igbo man believes is that people will just fulfill their destiny and prosper and survive. You don't have right to invade me and take over what belongs to me, because where I was born in freedom. Then how will I be suddenly become a slave just because I want to answer in Nigeria? It does not work. This is an era where people begin to question their identity. This is an era where people begin to question, who am I? Like Bob Marley will say, you need to know where you're coming from. That's the basis of you identifying the glory and honor God has bestowed on every race and every tribe, and should not be taken away either by force or by manipulation or by conquest. And that is why throughout the history of the kingdom, of the Igbo kingdom, of the ancient Jews of the world, they have never invaded anybody, talk less of carrying out a conquest. We don't want to talk about other things that have been behind the scenes. We are seeing what is actually developing. They cannot stop this movement whose time has come. And what is the movement? The world needs to understand very clearly there's need for this support, bilateral support, solidarity for the recognition of the first Jewish black nation in Africa. That is the fact. There's no two ways about it. You know, no matter the kind of game they are playing at this point in time is coming when the world will seek for solidarity, when the world will seek for justice, when the world will seek for treaty, the world will seek for partnership, especially in this part of Africa. And the only hope that will stand for the humanity, the only thing that will stand for, extremely imagination of human existence is the republic and recognition of a country that have existed. Chinua said it very clearly. There was a country. Why would the United Nations be running away from their duties on the resolving, conflicts that have triggered as a result of political oppression and suppression around the world?
But what is the actual thing that northern part of this Nigeria are fighting? They are fighting not Igbos and Biafra not to go. What is the actual thing? For them calling...
The actual thing they're actually fighting for in Nigeria is that, even people that coupled Nigeria at the end of the day say after 100 years, Nigeria can go their separate ways, But in Nigeria, who felt that, that the Igbo nation, the Eastern Bloc, is already weakened by whatever strength or whatever oppression or whatever manipulation, that it has to continue, because major resources that have kept Nigeria surviving today, that have not even benefited the indigenous people of that bloc, quite unfortunate, they are still being oppressed on it. I think this is one of the things where people go around the world to begin to ask questions. Definitely, seek solidarity, seek questions, seek justice. Why is it that anytime an Igbo man raises a question for justice, he's being tagged a rebel?
But as Northerners are calling the British not allow Donald Trump to recognize Biafra, but they will not allow an Igbo man to become president.
No,
Why?
you see, the era of Igbo man becoming president, for me, it is no longer necessary. Yes, it's no longer necessary because that will not stop the jihadist conquest. That will not stop the political conquest. That will not stop the continuous invasion of extremism with weapons, killing people, killing Christians on a daily basis. And the world shouldn't be silent because we just want to stay in a nation that is called one Nigeria. We just want to be part. We will not, without participating in a nation that said they are one Nigeria. Now, one Nigeria is questionable, and to a lot of people has become a scam, and that is the fact. What is happening in Okigwe, although Imo State Axis, is the testimony of what is actually happening. That the target for the resources, for the gas in Imo State is the need why that Imo State has come under any form of conquest, bombardment, any kind of a thing, just to make sure, that nobody start and ask for justice. Else you stand up and ask for justice, then you become a rebel. And that is why at this point in time, that the world should show solidarity, the world should understand, the United Nations should understand what is actually playing out. It's not purely unity thing. It's not about unification. It's not about how to carry people along, especially people of Igbo extraction. This is not it. What is happening in Nigeria is beyond what we are thinking and seeing and believing that this is actually what it is. It is not what it is. The world has come to understand it. It is not what it is. The world leaders must understand it. It is not what it is. Millions of Christians are dying on a daily basis as a result of this ongoing conquest. If you can check instances around the world, in the Middle East, anywhere in the world, where these people have their food, legacy, there is nothing to write home about. Nigeria has become a dumping ground for Nigeria has become a dumping ground for conquest. Why we are killing people on every day. I wasn't surprised when this thing got exposed by the man who came to Nigeria recently. The news is everywhere. How they know a mockery, and the federal government tried to manipulate, my canal, and what is it called, Master Bolus. We saw it very clearly. We saw the revelations. And based on that now, the North are sensing, that might become extra decision or executive order that the Senate Congressmen in the United States of America might start pushing towards, a recognition of a country that have existed before. I'm talking about the first Jew, whether you like it or not, the first Jewish black nation in Africa. I'm talking about Biafra, and I'm saying it, that I am not an Igbo man. My language is Igbo. My identity is Biafra. There's nothing anybody can do about it. The same way we have a Yoruba man who is an Odua man or whatever, the same thing we have in the north. Why would a northerner go to the south, invade the south, and the southerners are not invading the north? It is questionable. Anybody that is telling you there's not that the genocide that is going on in Nigeria is not targeted at Christians. Do you know how many men of God that have been killed? This is not a nation that we should be proud of. I'm telling you, because everything about Nigeria is compromised.
So now, what do you have to? Which advice are you going to give to Donald Trump over this issue?
What advice? Advice as in how? I don't know. We don't need to be talking about advice here. What we are saying now, but Donald Trump, in his wisdom, actually knows what to do at this point in time to save lives. It's a matter of saving lives. How would you be able to save lives? You cannot be taking lives. You cannot be disaliving people just because you want them to be in unity. And the United States of America are not is a powerful nation, it is a respected nation in the world today, and having enjoyed a great job, Donald Trump has done so far to bring peace around the world, and you can see when he addressed the United Nations, they are not doing their job. The AU are not doing their job because most of them have been infiltrated with Arab money. They have been confused with Arab money, and that's why you're seeing on daily basis a continuous push and surge of Islamism all over the world, extremism all over the world. And Nigeria, look at what is happening in Kwara currently now. They have dismantled, they invaded the church and take down lives there, invaded the church.
They have been North Central.
So that is what it is. And I can tell you, I don't want to talk about what is actually being surrounding Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's ordeal so far, because it is becoming an embarrassment to the Nigerian judiciary. It is becoming an embarrassment to the Nigerian government. It is becoming an embarrassment to the United Nations, that of which one stands to campaign and solicit for self-determination, and it's been outlined there in the United Nations. They are not saying anything. Nobody is talking about anything. But when you get to a point now, they start saying dialogue over people who are desperate then to kill on daily basis. That is not dialogue. What we are saying that if United Nations is actually United Nations, they should compel themselves to understand that there's need for solidarity and recognition of it. That is the only way you can bring peace in this part of the world. But they do not want it. Nigerians are spending billions of dollars to lobby nations over this, but they trade humanity for just a porridge. A pot of porridge is far more better than the life defined by existence. It is a questionable thing, and we cannot say, UK, it is time for Kestama to go. He has to leave that place because he do not understand what he's saying, what he's doing currently now. Because they continue to align with something that is not part of what they stood for. They believe that, it has got to a point that, they are no longer relevant in the scheme of things. The United States of America should look inward and understand at this very point in time, there's need for them to look it deeply. It has started. The Senate are taking it upon themselves. The Congress are taking it upon themselves, and the whole thing with the current revelation, coming from. I'm not saying that man is a diplomatic representative, as Reno Mokri always lie. He's an independent researcher of conflicts, let me put it that way, and he was able to say it clearly the way it is, and that he's taking it to American Congress as part of his contribution to American foreign policies. And as I'm talking to you now, they are not going to throw it to the gutters. Forget what is happening within Mazin Namdekano. Whether the judge, after going to inside his chamber, he now went inside. I've never seen it happen before. Where a court, without issuing a court order, a court injunction inside the court sitting arrangement. After court sitting, you went inside their chamber. You now brought a court order. Nigeria is pushing Nigeria to disintegration. Thank you.
The truth is finally out. Now that the Finnish government has declared the CDS of Nigeria, Musa, a terrorist now, what is the next phase of the lie? What lies can the government tell Nigerians? Now that Samonepa is no longer in the picture, because it has always been pictured that Samonepa is the cause of insurgency in Southeast, and now that insurgency has stopped in Southeast, and now that the Finnish government has vindicated Samonepa, that those sponsoring insecurity and terrorists in the country are those some persons in the military. Now, where would CDS Musa bury his shame? Because a group of people are saying we want to exit the country. Because the Igbos are saying they are tired of the contraption called One Nigeria. That this One Nigeria, it will not work. And then it has not been working. It has been a country full of lies, propaganda, and shame. That has always been how it is from. So I am not surprised that the Finnish government has now come out to say CDS Musa is a terrorist for all the atrocities he has been, for all the atrocities he has committed, in disguise of pretending to keep One Nigeria. And that One Nigeria has caused a whole lot of catastrophe in the country. Just some days ago, a notorious bandit that was declared wanted was seen in Katsina State with top government officials going for peace talk. Between Mazi Samonepa and that terrorist, who is more deadly? But here we are today. Mazi Kanu is still in detention. Kanu is still in detention because of the Igbophobia, of the hate. If Samonepa happens to be from the Fulani extraction, Samonepa would not be a terrorist. I can beat my chest because we've seen Fulani militias that have been given amnesty. We've seen Fulani militias that have been integrated into the society. Now that Finland are waiting to the ICC, Nigeria should immediately hand over CDS Musa for custody. Because the French government have done their own findings too. And they've seen that something is pushing under the ground. That this man has a connection with these Fulanis, has a connection with these bandits, has a connection with these terrorists. So if they are sincere, they should hand over CDS Musa to ICC for questioning. Because now that the French government has done their own conclusion, I've seen that CDS Musa himself is not innocent in this. Nigeria cannot pretend as if they are not aware that CDS Musa has been declared wanted by ICC and the Finnish government. No matter how they tend to die the whole matter. It is in the social media space. Everybody has seen it. That CDS Musa has been declared wanted by ICC and the Finnish government. No matter how the Nigerian government want to die this matter, but they are very quick to declare Samonepa and IPOB a terrorist group. Now that the Finnish government and the ICC has declared CDS Musa a terrorist, why is the story not online? Why is the story not flying online? Because they themselves are also part of people championing insecurity and terrorism in the country. And that is why I say that anybody that speaks against the vision of the country, they will do everything possible to take that person off the hook. They will do everything possible for them to take that person off the hook. That is why I see that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been in detention. And the Finnish government, they were so gullible to be used by the Nigerian government. They were just too gullible. Because if they were not gullible, why would a country like Nigeria come to tell you that Samonepa is the one sponsoring insecurity all the way from Finland, and you sit your ass down in Finland and you believe them? But there are some rumors that the envelope also change hand. You know Nigerian story now. You know Nigerian government, that Nigerian government, anything that Nigerian